I tried a case with my son. We got a verdict. The very next day, I started a case with my two daughters, and they were fighting about who was going to get the bigger verdict, and the competition between them and the experience for me to be back-to-back trials with my kids was just amazing.
You've run the office for a very long time. I mean, you're the operations, you've done all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Why did you decide to go to law school?
Well, I always wanted to go to law school from early on, and then, life happens. You get married, you have kids. I got to a point where I was like, it's either now or never.
But we know for sure the money doesn't matter, and what's important is your health and having family and friends that care about you. That's all that matters.
So one of Gary's like, look, the most important thing for you is your family, your happiness, your marriage. She said, take one day a week to be with your wife, to be with your kids, and don't think about anything else. Welcome to this episode of Bourbon Approved, where we like to interview those that were successful at law and life. We do it over a lot of spirits, some high-proof spirits, and some the Morrow spirits, which we're a little bit, we don't like to talk about type situation. So first we have our colorful co-host, Morrow Fury, once again.
As usual, at your service, Morrow Fury.
And we have, this is the Dordick family episode. We're gonna hear about how these two wonderful human beings started a, would you call it a dynasty, Morrow?
Dynasty, for
Dynasty.
Sure. A dynasty.
A dynasty. So first of all, thank you to the Bike Shed, Charles Liu, Thomas Hardy for letting us have this forum.
Incredible space here in downtown Los Angeles.
Downtown Los Angeles. So to the royalty of Los Angeles, we have the Jack Daniels.
One of Gary's favorites.
My favorite. I almost brought my own.
It's Sinatra Select, it says.
Sinatra Select.
That is a fine bottle.
The first time I ever had this bottle was whenever the two of you hosted a party, and this was a party favor. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I think, I forget the event.
As you can tell, my name is engraved on that bottle. Because I got it from Gary at some point. Gary sent me a bottle of this with my name on it.
You guys did it as a holiday gift. This was 5 or 6 years ago.
classy.
Do you remember this? No, you guys do the best of like.
Yeah,
Well,
Gary's classy.
what I can say is we know that to be a fine bottle, and it was a long time ago, so can we all agree for sure that he filled it up with the cheap stuff since then?
No, I've been saving it for
The bottle was open.
I've
and
been
it smelled.
saving this for a special occasion. And I figured what better than Gary's favorite Sinatra Select when he graced us with his presence with his beautiful wife, Nava, on our Bourbon Approved show.
Well, we really
you for having
appreciate that. This would be such a good time if Nava actually drank bourbon, but
She will.
We're going to
We'll
have
try it.
You're going to have to wet your beak, Nava.
Make sure you have a zoom in on Nava when she tastes what that tastes like.
Drink it the way Michelle taught me.
This was your gift in probably 16
Oh, wow. Okay.
for the holidays, because our family drank the whole bottle that holiday season.
Now, you drank it that night.
That night. Actually, I said
You drank the whole thing in one
Cheers.
night.
We did. It
Good
was
friends, good times, good health. Thank you very much.
And, in this being the Sinatra Select, you know what Frank Sinatra said?
fantastic whiskey. Easy.
Bob, you know what Frank Sinatra said,
Oh,
since
wow.
this is the Sinatra Select? Sinatra said, booze, broads, or a Bible, whatever gets you through the night. So,
Booze, broads, or a Bible.
whatever gets you through the night. That
So
was
if Gary had blue eyes, he would be old Blue Eyes to the Rat Pack of Los Angeles, because he's our mentor leader.
Oh, that's so beautiful, isn't it? So good.
But what I said or the whiskey?
Both things.
You didn't even hear what I
Gary is our mentor, always.
So what that means is I'm the leader of the Rat Pack.
said. The Brat Pack.
It's a low level, but I'm the leader of the low
the
level.
rats.
Yeah,
Got
the
it.
rats.
I mean, Gary's been around the personal injury business in LA 40 years, Gary.
I have.
I've been involved in the personal business 25 years. And when I started, Gary was already such a well-known figure, beloved figure 25 years ago. And since then, he's expanded on that exponentially 100 times.
So the Dordick family is one of the few that have not only 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9-figure verdicts, but 10-figure verdicts, and with your daughters on the 10-figure verdict, right?
Yeah, both of them were on that case. My daughters are relatively new in terms of, our kind of experience. They're 3 years, 4 years, 5 years practice, and they really like the sexual abuse cases because it's an area that the clients really need someone to fight for them. And I think often they're more comfortable having a woman litigator fighting for them, given the nature of the abuse these folks have suffered in the past. So my daughters love fighting for them, and they like having a team of aggressive women to fight for them. And I'm so happy to be a part of the team and to guide and mentor my daughters in the fight for justice for the victims of such terrible abuse. So it's great, the type of case, and for me as a father to have my two daughters in court with me, next to me, fighting side by side. There's no greater experience. In fact, I tried a case with my son that the very next day, we got a verdict, the very next day I started a case with my two daughters, and they were fighting about who was going to get the bigger verdict, and the competition between them and the experience for me to be back-to-back trials with my kids was just amazing.
So how did, Nava and Gary, how many of your kids are at the practice now? Just so the listeners and viewers understand the dynamic.
Well, we have 5 kids. 3 of them are lawyers. 2 of them went astray. And Nava graduated law school just a few months ago. And
So
she's
round of
taking
applause.
the February
Wow,
bar.
wow, wow.
February bar. When Nava started law school, they announced
Loyola Law School graduate there.
Yes.
Loyola Law School. And
Not hard to get into, and certainly.
yeah, we can talk about the dedication coming up in a couple weeks also. It's a big honor for us. But when Nava started law school, they announced the age range of the students. They announced
Youngest.
the youngest
Really?
and the oldest. And Nava was the oldest student in the law school, but obviously you can't tell. So when they announced it, Nava was looking around, who's that old bitch? Where is she?
Where's that old lady at?
Jesus, what's wrong with her?
Because you look younger than most of these law students that are there. I mean, honestly, Mark, we've
Most of
been
them
law
are erect too. I mean, you're put together, you know what I mean?
But you know what
Correct.
Nava, when she first started law school, was kind of taken back by the number of young people, and in class, they're all typing the whole time, and it's click, 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 typing, and Nava's looking around like, I don't know what they're all typing. First off, the lectures are recorded, and they're not saying anything, but
And
they
PowerPoints.
and they never stop typing, and she's like,
How are you
I
learning?
don't
while you're
get that.
typing?
I know.
but she was.
They're like, something like dictators.
But Nava, why did you decide to go to law school? I mean, you've run the office for a very long time. I mean, you're the operations. You've done all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Why did you decide to go to law school?
Well, I always wanted to go to law school from early on, and then, life happens. You get married, you have kids, the kids need you. Then when they're doing
Gary
their thing,
needs you.
Gary needs me, the practice needs me, and then we just got to a point where, I got to a point where I was like, it's either now or never. So I made that commitment, didn't tell anyone, just Gary knew. I started studying for the LSAT. Even our kids didn't know. And then one day Gary decided to announce it on a webinar.
with 9,000 people.
Oh, shit.
So there was no pressure. This is just studying for the LSAT. So then now the pressure was on to get into a school.
But Nava had that window where the kids were out of diapers and before I'm in them. So she just had to take
Well,
advantage of that.
That was
Exactly.
a
As
prequel
a
because
dad of small kids, I could say for sure, kids need their mom, right? So I understand where you say, they need their mom for a long time, not just a couple years. They need their mom for a long time. But then at some point, then you can focus on yourself, right?
Exactly.
Then you decide to focus on
But I wanted to make the point that Nava was really intimidated by these young people and all their typing and clicking. And then as time went on through the first year and second year of law school, Nava was realizing, like in real property, these young people are asking questions like, I don't get, what's a mortgage? How does a mortgage work? I mean, and like in real property, many of them were clueless to the real world, where Nava's lived in the real world for a time that she was so far ahead of the curve in practical experience, real world experience, that we went to the law school prom. What was it called? The ball? Barrister's ball. And one young student.
Did they ask you, is this your grandpa?
No, but
Laura, speaking of that, where's your next pour here?
But they all went up to Nava, and they were saying to her, "Oh my God, I just want to tell you, I was so intimidated by you in class. I didn't want to talk when you were talking. I was so intimidated, but at the same time, Nava was intimidated by them."
But that's gonna be crazy, because every one of these kids that are in law school, they know who you are. They're not gonna say anything.
No,
come on.
No.
Because Loyola, they have a very strong plaintiff's bar for law school. They gotta know who you are.
But it shows how clueless they were. What? Idiots.
It depends on the class. If it was a civil litigation type of class, if I'm taking, con law, no. But it depended on more the professors, I think, knew.
They do the grading by a number system, of course. I told her, just write your name on it.
Exactly.
Hearts or something on the page.
Well, let's go. So pour your next one, Mauro.
We'd like to have a little, we try to bring stuff on, a little story behind it. This is Hirsch Select whiskey. Rich business guy from Chicago. He decides he wants to commission his own.
Let's show that bottle to the camera. This is
Adolf Hirsch decides in the 70s he wants to commission his own whiskey from Michter's.
Ah.
So he has Michter's.
We went to Michter's in Kentucky together.
He has Michter's commissioned, because he's a rich guy, 400 barrels of Michter's in the 70s, right? Fast forward, Michter's goes out of business, they go into bankruptcy, this whiskey gets lost, right? Michter's comes out of bankruptcy, comes back, and this whiskey's still sitting there. 30 years later, and now they discover it, and Adolf Hirsch's family, they didn't even remember he paid for it. So now it's this like orphan whiskey comes out of nowhere, and it's like legendary, this Hirsch whiskey, because this is from 1974. The Hirsch Select.
Is it just me, or is your throat burning?
No, that's natural.
Let's have a taste of this.
That's why when they're lost in the snow, this is kind of the stuff they give them.
It's fire in your belly.
This is the Hirsch Family Select, Adolf Hirsch's own stuff.
Just a little taste of that. I'm a Sinatra fan, but I'll taste it. That's a little
it's pretty amazing.
heavy there.
Nava, have you tasted it?
You want me to take that from you?
Will you drink it? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, what a
Oh, my hero.
What a gentleman.
This is 100 proof.
They're going to have their
Just
sixth
pour a little
style
taste.
after that pour.
Bob, let me have yours.
Thank you, sir.
So, Hirsch Select from Adolf Hirsch.
Gary, didn't your family had roots in Chicago?
Gary's from Chicago. That's
Believe
why
it or
I brought
not,
this.
I want to hear, because a
Gary's
lot
from
of
Chicago.
listeners and
That's
viewers
why
don't
I
know.
brought this.
Everybody thinks that Gary Dordick, born in Beverly Hills, grew up with money, started his firm, had no shortcomings, started his firm with $1 million.
Well, I tell you some interesting background. My grandparents are from the old country in generally Russia, and they came across Ellis Island. My grandfather was a bookie in Chicago in the 20s, and eventually, when they moved to Chicago, after his days of book running were over, he became a store clerk. He actually retired from what was then Boys Market as a union store clerk. My family never had any money, and interesting, my grandmother started smoking cigarettes, pack or two a day at 12 years old, and drinking early, and all she drank was whiskey. And I used to tell her, they tell me in school that, smoking and all this is bad for you. And she said, well, you know what, I'm old now, and there's only two things in the world that mean anything to me. It's you kids and my cigarettes, and I'm not giving up either one. But when I became a lawyer, I finally wanted to buy her something that she would like, something she wanted. And I didn't know what to get her, so I bought her a really expensive whiskey. And I thought, what a nice gift for Grandma. Because growing up, all I used to remember her saying is, would you like a little drinky? And I'm like, well, I'm 12. And he said, okay, well, Grandma, just have one. And she'd drink all day long and smoke all day long.
I wish you would have hung out with her.
Yeah, and when, she was great, Jean. And when I gave her the whiskey, she said, oh, this is the expensive stuff. And she said, Grandma doesn't drink, it's too expensive. And she drank the cheap stuff, and she never drank the expensive bottle. Even when I gave it to her, she says, it's expensive, Grandma can't drink this. And it sat there forever.
How old did she live?
And she lived to 86 years old, smoking 2 or 3 packs a day and
drinking.
drinking all day, every day. My grandfather, on the other hand, never drank, never smoked, exercised every day, and ate healthy, and she outlived him by 10 years.
Here,
grandma-
There you go.
Whiskey.
Here's to Grandma Jean. Grandma Jean.
My grandma, the same thing. My grandma drank wine, cheap wine, and smoked Chesterfields every fucking day. She lived till 95.
Good, right?
But it tastes different.
This
No.
Oh, it's
version's
100.
really
This is
good.
much different from this. I love it.
Yeah.
This would be
Why am
like-
I tasting, is it licorice or there's something
No.
like mapley? There's, I mean,
I
definitely.
taste a little bit of caramel in the hers.
Yeah.
You're just making shit up, dude.
No, I can taste it.
I taste a little caramel, too.
All right, good. I don't.
Making up shit. Bob, what about your tuxedo? Tell me about this. You know, we've done.
So this is only for men, so it doesn't match yours. It's very nice.
Bob, he's trying to steal my joke.
That's what I'm doing.
I mean, Bob, we've done dozens of shows.
I just told, before you guys came on, we thought that Gary would dress down a little bit. We said, let's show him up by wearing tuxedos.
And then he showed us in a suit.
Well, I might
Because
say,
Gary always wears a T-shirt and Levi's.
you guys are looking very, very nice today, I must
So
say.
we didn't coordinate this. We're both wearing kind of the same thing, which is
Well, it looks good. You're like bookends to us. At any time in the show, do you say anything that helps the audience with anything?
No, what do you want to learn?
Mostly drunken bantering for an hour.
Yeah, take it easy. Listen, you know,
How did
Bob,
you guys meet?
me and Gary?
Yeah, you said 25 years ago?
I've known Gary at least 20 years now, right? At least. I'm not sure how I met him, but the one thing is for sure, so he's not easy. He's not an easy guy to be friends with, but somehow I figured out how to do it. So I'm real.
Relentless.
We're close.
I couldn't
you know?
run away far enough and fast
You
enough.
were always so mean to him.
He's
I used
full
to
of
always
shit.
say, Mauro, I don't understand why you're friends with him.
You know that this guy calls me all the time? He calls me. This guy calls me to talk to him. And he can't deny it. Okay.
And then you always call us when it's dinner time.
Yeah, but I know what
Always.
time he eats. Listen, if you know Gary's a man of routines. At 6 o'clock, he's fucking eating dinner. At noon, he's eating lunch. And at 5:45, I'll text him. I'll say, "Are you eating your carrots or what? Or can you talk?" Because he starts starving at 5:45. He can't take it till 6. He starts eating
I am
carrots.
very disciplined.
eating carrots.
I have figured out at this
But do you
stage
think?
of life.
But do you think that's your trial lawyer routine, or was that something that you were ingrained?
No, look, I'm now 61 years old.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
He's been lying.
I have been through ups and downs. I fight with the cancer and ongoing battle. I've been terminally skinny to the point where people looked at me, oh, that dude's going to die. I've been fat and smushy and out of shape and
Fat and happy.
Happy, and I've been extremely unhealthy in my diet. I love food and
Remember
drinks.
the time on Thanksgiving we went to Pink's before
Pink's
Thanksgiving dinner?
before Thanksgiving
And
dinner.
we had like 10 chili dogs.
Do you remember the time we went to the restaurant and ordered every single thing on the menu except one thing, and then they brought that one thing?
Well, that
because
might
we were
not
making a
limit
record?
his restaurant. That was just unusual for us. But and now, so at this stage of life, I'm vegetarian. I work out every single day. When I'm in trial, I might have to get up at 5 in the morning, but I work out at least an hour every morning. I do all sorts of, I do water sports and outdoors and hiking and jogging and weights and yoga, mostly hot yoga. And for me, I fast every day. I finish dinner and I don't eat from 7 o'clock till noon the next day, every single day. So by the time noon comes around, I'm fucking starving.
But
when these guys are like, "Oh, let's make it 2 o'clock," I'm all up your ass 2 o'clock.
But can you do that during trial? Can you do that during
I do it
trial?
during trial. I do it all the
Really?
time.
He
And
calls
so-
himself lean and mean.
lean and mean during trial. I don't drink during trial. I don't overeat during trial. I don't eat fried crap.
But I'm the same way. But I
because it
can't.
affects
But I
my
have
sleep.
to eat in the morning before trial, or at least a little bit.
No, I don't.
He has coffee.
I have coffee only, but I go in and I like that hungry feeling. I like that lean and
Hungry
mean.
like the wolf.
I like, and then
We call him the gray wolf.
So
That's his
after
code.
lunch, I eat lunch at 12 o'clock because I'm starving. After lunch, I finish by 1. I try not to eat a lot of crap between lunch and dinner, but I have a vegetables or something snack at 3 o'clock.
Carrots.
So by 6 o'clock, I am starving again. And if I don't eat at 6 o'clock, what happens? Because it's what you...
Hangry.
No, it's not that. I do.
Sounds
but
like it's
what
that.
What happens is you start eating a bag of potato chips and a thing of this and a thing of that, and before you know it, you had 400, 500, 600 calories of shit, and then you had your dinner. But if I eat at 6,
But aren't you happy eating those
I am.
chips and things?
But
Nice.
it's discipline that keeps me. Right now, I'm not in as good shape as I was, some months ago, because we've had the Vegas convention, we've had all these things where I've let myself go, and now I'm back in.
But the two of you are in incredible shape. I mean, both of you are living life to its fullest.
Well,
still look fantastic.
You should see us
you.
both naked. Come on.
quite
Can we
the
not
sight.
like production that's adds to pictures of that?
We
You know that one time, I don't know what year it was, but I actually went.
1990 never.
I actually went to Europe on vacation. Me and Gary Nava, just the three of us. Remember when we were for 2 weeks?
What?
Wasn't that fun?
No, Alex met us.
Yeah. Eventually,
And we
my
went to all those Michelins and
Yeah,
came out of the
my
Michelins going, where can we
fiancé at the
find
time,
pizza?
now my
We were
wife.
so hungry.
my fiance, now my wife at the time, could only join us for the last 7 days of the trip, but for the first 12 days, it was just us three. We had the best time. We went to a bunch of different countries, three of us.
But,
We went
so I
crazy.
mean, we all get to enjoy these things now, but nobody here came from any means that we would never be able to.
No, but that's what makes it special.
In my
But
world,
how-
Gary was rich compared to my upbringing.
But how?
talking about.
But how do you keep that
grew
fire
up-
in their
hold
belly?
on a second. We grew up.
You grew up in Beverly Hills.
Hold on. My parents got divorced after first grade. My mother was a substitute school teacher.
Okay, but were you ever evicted?
Hold on, let me finish.
We were.
My mother was a substitute
was
school
evicted.
teacher.
I was poorer than you.
And substitute school teacher, and
Admit
she
it.
thought, okay, the only chance we have for maybe some success with the kids is if we rent an apartment in Beverly Hills, at least they'll get a good education. So the last street of Beverly Hills was Arnez, and they called it, there was an article about us
Next
in the
to Horace
newspaper.
Mann Middle School.
Right, they called it Divorce Row,
slums,
the slums of Beverly Hills. In fact, the woman, Tamara Jenkins, who made the movie called The Slums of Beverly Hills, was my first girlfriend. That movie's about us because we lived in the slums of Beverly Hills. And that life was me, my mom, my brother started off in a 1-bedroom. And then later, we moved to a 2-bedroom where we lived in that same 2-bedroom until I graduated high school. And everyone in Beverly Hills got a car. I was so happy to have a bus pass. I was like, you can get on the bus anytime you want and go anywhere and transfer. I had a bus pass. Everyone else had Porsche.
Okay, so
But Nava was rightfully poor also. They would get evicted
you went to
and foreclosed
Fairfax,
on.
right?
I went to Fairfax. Yes, on the other side of the tracks.
Yes,
The
you-
real tracks.
Yes. No, we were all south of the
Fairfax is rough
tracks.
compared to Beverly Hills High School.
But Nava, how do you all your kids now, like my wife and I talk this all the time, we have the fear of raising our children having money, because we never did. Like, how does that affect them? All of your kids are the most grounded people we've ever met in our lives.
Oh, we beat the shit out of them.
That's what I wanted to hear, because that's what I wanted to know. Like,
No,
okay.
no, we
Cut episode.
No,
we're
I
good.
think-
we
I-
lack discipline. We didn't discipline the kids very
No, but I
effectively.
think when it came to money and it came to materialistic things, that they kind of took, they're like us, we're like, give them the shirt off your back, we don't care. Money comes and money goes, and we've not had it, not had it.
Well, we hadn't lost it.
Mm-hmm.
When I got cancer, we sold our big house. We sold my classic cars. We sold everything. We downsized. My law office went down to 3 cases.
Well, let's talk about that, because this was around 2010, right when the financial crisis happened. And everybody knew, I just knew you guys through Fable. I was a law student. I would see your ads in the Advocate.
and then rented office from Pews.
But that's when I first met you. Did you not know this story?
No.
The first time I met Gary Dordick is after when it was the comeback from cancer tour. So this was 2010 or 11, 2010, 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And when the first ad in the Advocate came out, and it was Gary running out of the hospital holding
Oh, yeah,
IV
pushing the
bags.
thing.
Oh, right.
And I
right.
was wanting to meet this guy, and I was renting an office from
Oh my God, I
Famous trial
remember
lawyer.
we went to dinner. Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Gary was like, I met these people, and I think you're really gonna like the wife, and this guy Bob, and I remember you guys came to our house, and Chrissy goes to me, oh my God, we could be like sisters, and I was like, I love her. She's so beautiful.
And you guys are best friends now. And like, but that was, my wife's a good gut check. Like, are people good or not? And she loved you. She's like, first time I met you, I loved you guys. But that article, but yeah, but it's a different mentality. But when we saw that article, and I saw, first time I met Gary Dordick, he was wearing a tracksuit talking to Mike Puce. And I had just seen this article. I was like, that's fucking Gary Dordick. I just saw it was a cartoon.
And unfortunately
I didn't know you yet. It was a year or two later.
That you bring up Mike Puce. Mike Puce is one of the greatest trial lawyers ever lived, the greatest people ever. He was fucking great. I'm so happy that I got to know him through Gary. And a lot of people don't know who he is because he's from the old
But
generation.
at the same time,
He was very low.
fucking great.
but an important point to clarify here, because that's part of what I think we can share with folks, is Mike was one of the greatest trial lawyers of all time. But we learn from each other, and we learn from our colleagues sometimes how to try cases and how to do things well. But sometimes we learn from people in our lives how not to do things. And when I saw and became close to Mike, he told me, I said, I'm going to my kids' AYSO soccer team. I'm going to my kids' spring sing and Thanksgiving and holiday programs. I said, I go to all of them. He told me he never made a single sporting event for any of his kids. And his daughters were great athletes and wanted him to be there, but he was the greatest lawyer who failed as a father and failed as a husband. Later in life, he tried to make up for lost ground, but you can't. So the fact is, if you really want to be successful, it's not enough to be a great trial lawyer. It's not enough to make money, but to be successful, the most important thing is to be a good father, a good husband, a good family man, a good human being.
I told you, Bob, the first time I met you, Gary called me up sometime, I don't remember when, it was a long time ago. He says, hey, let's go to the Santa Monica Bar Association meeting, or surfing lawyers, or some one dumb shit.
This, yeah.
And he says, we're gonna go to the Surfers Lawyer Association meeting in Santa Monica. My friends are gonna speak. I was like, who are your friends? Oh, Bob and his brother.
No, we were just attendees.
And I was like, no, you guys were on the panel. I remember this for sure.
Gary, pour the other bottle, by the way, because we're running out of liquor.
So Gary took me there, and you and your brother were speaking along with some judge, and
O'Connell, Judge O'Connell, and Jackie O'Connell.
And the first time I met you guys, and after that I was like, oh, these guys are cool guys. I remember I told you. At the time, Gary was living in Century City. So whatever years that was when you're living at the California.
When we first went, when I met you guys, we went to your house, the one on Sunset. And my wife, I mean, we were just newbies to LA, and it was just blown away by the generosity and who you guys are. And like, your driver took us back to our house. We were so drunk. I left but I thought it was a nice car at your house, and Stevie dropped us off, and it was like.
Was I there? I think I was there then.
Might have been. I don't fucking.
But you mentioned like that was a great house in Beverly Hills. It was a historic house where a lot of celebrities lived there. It was on the celebrity tour. They'd stopped because Shirley Temple and all these people owned the house in the past. Lucille Ball's company owned it. And the kids used to sit on the front lawn, and we had a golden, and they told everyone it was Marley from the movie. That dog got more pictures, and they loved taking pictures of our dog. But I
remember that golden.
Nobody.
Talking about Mike and raising our kids, and how thank you for complimenting how our kids are when it comes to the whole money thing, but we basically always told them we're spending it all. So don't plan on any inheritance.
But how did you keep them hungry? Because they're such hard-working people.
Good point, but the first I was going to say is that we've had the money, we've lost the money, we've had the money. Fortunately now we have the money because we work really, really hard, and we have good values, I believe, but we know that it doesn't mean anything. We have fancy cars, and we've bought artwork, and we've, have
you guys have a dinosaur in your.
I like dinosaurs.
By the way, my daughters, they still talk about some dinosaurs.
But at the end of the day, we get that it doesn't mean shit. Look, it's nice, right? I mean, look, people say, oh, you don't need money to be happy. You don't. But if you have money in Los Angeles, you have different opportunities and things, and it can make your life more comfortable. But we know for sure the money doesn't matter, and what's important is your health and having family and friends that care about you. That's all that matters.
So whenever I reached out, I stalked the Dordicks just wanted to be like you guys. And when you invited me one time to your house in Malibu, we were hanging out. I was just on the beach in your beach house in Malibu. Sounds so foo-foo. But I was scared.
It's a hut, okay?
No,
Just clarify, it's a hut.
Okay, that's me. So I was I was just talking to Gary. I was like, if family's important to me, why aren't you doing these leadership things or blah, blah, blah? And Gary's like, look, the most important thing for you is your family, your happiness, your marriage. He said, take one day a week to be with your wife, to be with your kids. And don't think about anything else. There'll be times you're in trial for 6 weeks, but you got to make time for things around you. Because it will be, look, we've been gone for months. And Nava, when we're there for the weekends, we're not really there in the middle of trial. It's we're blank face. But it takes that dedication to be there for.
Look, how can you work and be a law student? The answer is you have to be very efficient with your time, and you have to use it, well and manage. Same with family and work. Having the right balance takes time, effort, planning, but you have to make it a priority to say, look, I'm going to work when I have the work and when I have to do it, but when I have that break, I'm going to give 100% to taking my family to brunch and spending time with them and making sure that they know I'm there. And it takes work to make a happy family life. You say, oh, it should be easy. Well, mentally, you want to do it, so that part is easy, but making it work in our busy schedules takes effort, and you have to make that effort.
You know what else? That now that our kids are adults, lawyers, our daughter Michelle said to me recently, most of her memories of her childhood weren't the houses, weren't the cars. It was us taking them rollerblading every weekend on the boardwalk in Santa Monica.
Teaching them how to ride bicycles.
Teaching them how to ride bikes. It was all the activities and the stuff we planned and we did with them. It wasn't about the money at all. It was just about spending the time with them.
We travel a lot together, and I asked my kids, what was your favorite part of the day or the week or the trip? It's always something that...
Random.
Yeah.
When you were with me, I was on the toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, I'm home every night, except for usually Thursday nights when I go hang out with Gary. Usually Thursday nights we have dinner. This has been going on for 20 years or something. But besides having dinner with Gary on Thursday night, I'm usually home every night during the week.
But why? Because that's where you want to be.
With my kids, and I tell my kids, to me, my best time of my day is I tell my kids bedtime stories. My kids
I love it.
love bedtime stories.
Look, how many of your
and
friends...
you tell them really scary stories, too.
But how many of your friends call
horseman?
you up and say, hey, let's go out, let's go to a bar, let's go drink.
No.
You say, okay, but sometimes you do it because you have to or you feel obligated, whatever, but in reality, where are you guys happiest?
With my kids.
It's funny, I'm reading this book that a friend wrote right now, and it's called...
one night a week.
Something Dharma. It's talked about the wheel, the blue wheel of Dharma. You have to find your wheel, what's important to you, and stay within it, and don't get pulled too outside of it. And I was reading this book, I'm like, shit, this is exactly the way everybody should feel. Define your happiness and stay within it. The more, because time moves fast. The older we get, the faster it moves. Remember when we were kids, we were looking up at the clock, and it felt like forever till it turned. I was 2:07, I got out of school. 2:07, what the fuck, when is it 2:07? Now time moves so fast.
I brought this as a gift to you guys, Whistle Pig. I have actually never had it because I stick with my Jack Daniels, but they say it's the best.
Whistle
it's
Pig
a
Rye
gift
15
for you guys.
is very nice.
So this is a store pick. Whatever's written on the... I know you're a Wally's guy, so I want to see if this is where you got from Wally's.
Store pick? What does that mean?
I'll explain to you soon if I open this.
Yeah, it's a Wally's.
It's a Wally's.
Is it?
Yeah.
So this is one of the harder ones to get. So stores do a whole barrel pick. So they'll drink and pick the best barrel. So this is a 15-year-old Whistle Pig. This label here says this is a Wally's.
Oh.
Ones that they picked for that store. They did one whole barrel. That probably did a 15-year-old, probably 150.
Wally's able to carry some weight and get that.
So probably 150 they get out of 150 bottles out of the barrel. So I've done one where we got one out of Whistle Pig, got 180.
You don't have to open it. It's a gift.
I mean, we'll drink this.
Well, we can drink
Take
what
it home,
else
we'll
you
drink
have.
it with your dad.
Take it home. This other stuff we drink.
I mean, this is amazing.
Bring it with you, or you guys can fight over it later, and you guys film it. I'm going to tell you something
Mud
about.
wrestle it.
I'm going to tell you guys some good advice about raising kids. Here's the thing. You need to. The hard part, like you say, is how do you raise kids. All of us came from no money. So we couldn't get spoiled, right? Because you gotta have money to get spoiled. We could not. It was not possible. Well, I went to, Beverly Hills High School as the poor kids. You knew who the poor kids were. You knew who the rich kids were. Didn't matter. We all knew who we were, and it didn't matter. I was friends with all of them. But at the same time, I went to Beverly Hills High School in 1976, and cocaine was crazy, and people were doing all this blow. Well, we're too poor to do blow. It wasn't a problem. We didn't have any money. But you ask, nowadays, now that you as parents, have money, and you have the ability to spoil your children, and you worry, the number one thing that you worry about is how do we raise good, healthy, happy kids? Well, what I found growing up too was most of the second generation money got screwed up because all their parents never had money. They came into money and they wanted to give their kids everything they didn't have. So all those kids burned out and flamed out because they had celebrity parents. They spoiled them. They grew up with a lot of problems. Their generation, their kids did a little bit better because they saw the parents that flamed out. So we learned things like you give your kids, in terms of allowance and money, enough in their pocket to do something, but never enough money to do nothing. You can't give them a lot of money. You can't let them have money so easy. Our daughter, remember Michelle, was going to her high school prom and she wanted to buy a pair of shoes. And it was like a $500 pair of shoes, and I was like, absolutely not. But she really, really wanted those shoes, and it was really important to her, and she was going to her prom. And we said, okay, tell you what, you want to buy those shoes, you can buy them, but you have to work at the office to pay for them. So she said, yes, I want them. She bought the shoes. I think they hurt her feet. She went to the prom was over. She worked the entire summer, and with taxes coming out, she's like, I haven't even paid for the shoes yet. I worked 3 months. We're like, yeah, exactly. You understand that you see how hard and how long you had to work for a pair of shoes that she really didn't even care that much for, but it taught her some values. But
allowance is hard. It's hard to do. I think that really what helped a lot with our kids was that all of them did sports, some kind of sport that we just looked at it like.
Were they individualistic sports or team?
Both.
Wow.
So our son Kyle, at
was a great
14
hockey
years
player.
old, would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do ice time before school started.
He would go to like Rancho Cucamonga or some shit to do some.
Right. How much can they possibly party?
Remember he had a skating coach like out.
Yeah. Well, look at it.
Michelle and Taylor and Waverly did dance.
Look at it this
competing.
way. If they're in some competitive sport, team sport at school, or the girls were competing in dance, and their grades, you watch their report card and their grades are okay, or even hopefully good, it's unlikely they're shooting heroin under the bleachers, right? If they're competitive in a sport and their grades are okay, as a parent, you can kind of take a step back and say they're probably doing okay.
It's also a lot of the circle of friends that they're around.
Yes.
Making sure.
Yes.
I mean, what's the challenge? We have a few minutes here before we wrap up, but I just want to hear your advice to those listening. Growing up with children that have access to money and having friend circles that have really bad access to money, if that makes sense.
What do you mean by really bad?
That they can spend money and family don't care. There's no checks or balances, and they can be like, I can go here or there, and it doesn't fucking
I'm going to let Nava answer that, but I'm just saying, when you say before we wrap up, we are nowhere near done. We are just warming up. Bottles are full of alcohol.
Let's keep drinking.
What's going on here?
We could do
I'll tell some great stories. Do you know, Bob, some of my favorite
We could do a
things
multi. We could do like a season. We could do a season of Dordick.
Now, Bob, some of my favorite things
Actually,
ever
this would be a
said,
good one.
having known Gary for so many years, and so then it gets to the point where it's beyond just like, well, I've had dinner, whatever. Like, have you ever gone shopping with Gary?
No.
I can tell you a thing about Gary. This guy could take the whole afternoon to buy one pair of socks.
And he won't buy them if they're not on sale.
You've never seen this guy. I've gone shopping. It's like at this point, like we go shopping.
They got to be on sale.
I mean, I've gone like to the supermarket with Gary, and like he's like, I don't know about these sausages.
No, I have a
Should I buy these?
He'll buy
this
a
mustard?
really expensive car. I don't know if I should say what kind of car. So he'll buy a Rolls Royce, spend crazy money where I'm like, it was how much? And then he's like, it's a nice car. He like rationalizes
I got
it.
a deal.
And then he's so offended at what they charge for valet parking that he'll park 10 blocks away. And we have to walk all the way.
Shopping with him, and he's like,
But it's a value
at these
purchase.
socks.
I get Gary. It's a
I got
value
the
purchase.
car on sale too.
This guy
I'll
can
tell you
take
that.
2 hours to buy socks. I mean, and I'll indulge him.
But he
you know
could buy a
what?
McLaren and make money off of it.
And then the
right?
other thing is, Gary has a fascination. I don't know what it is. He likes to buy jackets. But he lives in
God.
Southern California.
In California.
Okay, where you wear a jacket like 6 weeks a year. I have personally been with this guy where he's bought, like, I've probably been with him where he bought
So true.
30 jackets.
That's because you don't have to take
So
your shoes
true.
off to try
He'll
them on.
try them on, and he'll go, and I'm like, where are you gonna fucking wear it when it's 80 degrees in February? I mean, how many jackets does this guy have? I've been with him where we've bought, and I'm talking different countries, different states. I remember personally shopping with this guy for a jacket in South Dakota at the Sturgis motorcycle rally. He wanted a motorcycle jacket for at least 2 hours. Finally, I said, buy the fucking jacket.
Okay, we're not talking trivia nonsense. I have more parenting advice. One of the things that we thought was one of our
Pour your old granddad.
Oh, yeah.
Let's carry us out.
most
Wait,
successful.
do you have to?
This is the last pour out.
What is
This is old granddad.
This is for you, old granddad.
Listen, old granddad gets a bad rap because usually it's like it's looped in with like Old Crow, old granddad, the shitty whiskeys you drank in high school when you're trying to like get laid and have a chick in the back seat. You know what I mean?
I have no idea.
You know what I'm talking about. But this is an old granddad bonded, meaning that to be bonded, it has to follow lots of very strict rules, and it's a good bourbon. So if you ever see a old granddad
50%
bonded,
alcohol. Bonded.
old granddad bonded, this is pretty good.
Just
Lots
pour,
of different.
pour that.
So another
There's lots
thing
of
that
different whiskey and
the
bourbon.
Dordicks also taught me this. When my kids, I try to scare the shit out of them to be safe.
Yes.
And I learned this from you guys.
Oh, God.
Is Gary used to show photos of people mangled, dead, like if they're not following the rules. You don't look both ways. This is what happened to one of my clients. I do this to my kids now, and they fucking follow the rules.
But right
No,
now,
no,
but
Gary,
they do.
this is the old granddad.
They do grow up a little paranoid if seeing all that. But I want to tell you, I want to tell you guys an important parenting tip.
to old granddad?
I guess
Gary,
old granddad.
to be.
I guess we start with don't
Because
drink
you are
and
going to be
drive.
the old granddad in
You're
about
gonna
a
be-
month and a
yep.
half.
Cheers. Okay, now I think I like this stuff. I can
This
smell
old
it.
granddad.
That tastes like an old granddad.
This is good.
So you've had an old granddad. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I smell
I
it.
can't speak until you had a sip.
All right.
Oh, this
You can't plug your nose on.
What are we,
Bob, this
swimming?
is pretty smooth.
The
Pretty
three-
nice.
All right.
challenge.
Oh wait, I'm giving.
That's your second
Hold
old
on.
granddad today.
This is good parenting advice. It's really important, and this is, I think, really the key.
Don't drink whiskey.
No.
That's how I had children.
Now my stomach is burning.
It'll be all right.
Okay, you guys, very important.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
listening.
We made sure that our kids had at least, kids today have too much on their plate. This class and this tutor and that, but at least once or twice during the week and either one night on the weekends, Friday or Saturday, mandatory family dinner, no cell phones. Phones off, phones down. And they'd see them sitting on them, it like burning them to look. But truthfully, if you sit, eat with your kids, talk to them, ask them about their
Tell them to
day,
stop
ask them about
spilling
their
on
life.
themselves.
Tell them about life and the world and what's going on in your life. And you bring them in and you
I agree
talk
with
to them
you.
at
100%.
least twice a week, if not more. But it's so important that, and nowadays, our kids are now in their, late 20s, early 30s. They love family dinners. We did a family dinner Monday night for the holiday. They couldn't wait to come barbecue and sit with us. And we love it, and we look
And none
forward
of them
to
were
it.
on their phones, actually.
And they're not, because that quality time that they know from childhood, and that's
It was
how you
actually
see.
the food.
I had that, you know what? My father, who Gary knows and who knew, my great God rest his soul, was a nutty old Italian guy. And you know, to this day, I drink to my old man.
I'm gonna drink to your old man.
But he was big into family dinners because he was born and raised in Italy, and we had family dinners. And I feel, I say, forgive my mother, but my dad did spoil his cock tremendously.
All right, so we're at the end of the episode here, and
What do you mean ending the episode?
got started.
We haven't talked. The last thing we want to talk about.
Gary,
ask me
tell
about
us about-
ask me about Loyola.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about the
dedication.
Dordick Family Advocacy Center.
Trial.
Trial Advocacy Center at Loyola.
Well, as you know, Nava has graduated Loyola Law School. Our daughter Taylor went to Loyola undergrad and grad. And it was a great program. It wasn't just that you go to law school and you pass the bar, but they're trying really hard to make good lawyers, good advocates. They have an amazing program, the program that Taylor was involved with, the amnesty program, the innocence program to get people on death row acquitted, off death row, and amazing success. Nava's worked with the women's shelter there through the school. It's just a great program, and their trial advocacy team is amazing. So they came to us looking for some sponsorship and looking if we wanted to be more involved with the school. And so what I told them is my biggest concern right now in the legal community is the lack of diversity in terms of trial talent. If you look in the courtroom, you look around, it's a bunch of grumpy old white men, me included. I had a trial, I was
You're not
starting
that grumpy,
this
though.
week.
I mean, he's
No, but
yeah,
all right.
He is.
He's grumpy.
All right, but a bunch of old white,
hungry.
a bunch of old white guys over and over and over, because that's where the opportunity was years ago. So we've agreed to make a contribution to the Loyola Law School. It's going to continue on essentially in perpetuity. We will donate to the program with the understanding that our donations are for the purposes of promoting diversity in the legal profession in the trial advocacy program. We want them to have more women and more people of color have opportunities to be trial advocates. So we've made a significant contribution, and they have agreed to rename the trial advocacy building the Dordick Family Trial Advocacy Center. So coming up in a couple of weeks, there's going to be a dedication. They're going to rename the building. And so the campus will forever be known in that area, in the courtyard, after the Dordick family. And, you know, I look at that as a tremendous honor, but an honor because they believe and we believe in advocacy and professionalism and civility. And I think that hopefully we've lived our lives and our professional lives in a way to bring respect to the school, and we have shared goals and shared values. So it's a tremendous honor. We hope you guys will be there to help us celebrate the dedication. And
You know what else I'm so thrilled about is this too, is that when my son Max, who wants to be a lawyer, already told me, Dad, I want to be a lawyer, you're going to write him a letter and he's going to get into Loyola. My son Max is 4 years old. He says, Dad, I want to be like you. I want to be a lawyer.
Well, you are something really funny. Our kids are like, why are you doing that? You're spending our inheritance. I said, I keep telling you
You're
we're
not
spending your inheritance.
We've told
My
you.
office. My son's 4. He comes to my office, and when he comes to my office, he says, Dad, I need to wear a suit. I say, Max, why do you want to wear a suit to my office? Because you dress so nice, and I need to wear my suit. So he comes to my office, and he puts his suit on that he has. He comes to my office, and he sits next to me at my desk, and he pretends like he's doing work on his iPad, and he says he wants to be just like that. So let's make sure we write that down.
I want to say a few things about you two before we finish. Number one, Mauro here. Years ago, Mauro was a bachelor, and he was living a pretty good life as a bachelor.
Absolutely.
And he was maturing, and he told me that he understands he's probably never going to have kids, and he may not get married, but that he enjoys his life. And I told him that, having kids is so rewarding that I think you're making a huge mistake. You'd be a great father. And at the same time, he was a legendary bachelor, and he was kind of enjoying that. And I said, no, you'd be a great father. And anyone who knows his bachelor days, they were exceptional. But the truth is, seeing Mauro now as really up there in a nomination for the world's greatest dad, every weekend doing activities, taking him to tennis practice and taking him to Universal Studios and doing things and being at home,
they love camping
and cooking and babysitting. He's become
Mara was a
amazing
guy
dad.
that our daughters would tell their boyfriends, stay away from Uncle Mauro.
So this
okay,
guy
that's how
doesn't
crazy
like me to hang out with.
Well, no. I mean, let's not get. Look. He's a great dad. Still, we tell the kids stay away from Uncle Mauro. It's a whole different issue. But now, in terms of Bob, there was a time in life where Bob, yeah, I'm gonna cry. Bob and Christy didn't have any kids. They were practicing without success. And Bob said, maybe kids aren't for everyone. We may not have kids. And we were looking at it like, you and Christy, of everybody, would be the world's greatest parents that there are. And so whatever it takes, it may not be your own biological children, but you need to be parents because you want to be, and you're such wonderful people and be such wonderful parents. Whatever it takes to be parents, you need to do it because it would be so fulfilling and so great for you. And what happened?
We adopted, had 2 other. I'm drinking too much. That's why I'm glassy-eyed.
But
say it so we can hear it.
Biological
Say it so people know.
We adopted our first child after, we went through so much shit
And grief and depression and anxiety.
7, 8 years. Now we have 3 daughters.
But wait, hold on. You're glossing over. You got to be a storyteller. You're glossing over. You decided, you know what? We'll adopt because
We always wanted to adopt at some point in our lives, and we always thought our adoption would be after we had our children. And we talked, and after we went through this whole journey of all this infertility stuff, and it didn't work out. Let's do it now. And when we decided to do it now, it was like, we found our daughter. And everybody knows Remy. She's the fucking best.
The best. Yeah.
And after, we went through a lot of stuff after Remy.
And you became advocates for the adoption agency.
And
you're still involved.
Big time. And I do think that you can change the entire society. I honestly believe this. If you give children a home.
And love.
Stop. Full stop. 85% of prisons are with foster kids that were in the system at some point. That's a crazy. If you change 85%.
Horrible.
They were in the foster care system at some point.
The failure of society.
Yes, and that leads to all the failures across the board. If you solve that one little thing and do I honestly believe you can change society.
But you guys adopted and were so happy and such great parents, and then within a few years, 2 more kids. Well, look, I'll tell you this, that I've known you both now for so many years, and
Gary was the best man at my wedding.
I was.
He gave a hell of a speech too.
I warned his wife, "Are you sure?" But I'll say this: that we're here today to talk about law and life, mostly life. Mm-hmm. But you two have been a part of our life now for so many years, and if you were just good lawyers, we wouldn't be here. The fact is, you've become great human beings, great fathers, great husbands, great mentors for the lawyers in the community, and you both do so much to help so many other people that we're just happy to have you as friends and happy to have you guys in our lives. And thank you so much.
Wow, this is a tearjerker. Jesus.
The drinking, and we're going to start crying.
Now we start crying.
Now this is a drama.
And I want to say to my wife, Nava, that
he's holding her hand.
so
sweet.
I've seen her struggle through law school. I've seen the tears. Every exam
Lots
she
of
comes home, I'm like,
tears.
how's it going? It's like whether it's a 1-tier or a 2-tier or a 3-tier test. And she cries and she's sweat and she's worried. But she came through law school doing great. And now the bar exam is coming up and she's stressing out about it.
Okay, so once again, you're announcing it to thousands of people. I'm taking.
You'll be fine. And the fact is that we're so proud of what you've done and we're so supportive of it. And the truth is, I don't know if Nava's going to join our law firm. I would love if she would. And
Nava, we have a place for you at my firm.
well, she's motivated because she sees what we do battling justice and what we go through. And I know she'd like to be a part of that. But at the same time, if you're in a position in life where you don't need to practice law for money, you have an opportunity to do a lot of other things to make a difference in the world.
I've told Nava for years, I went to law school with a guy who must have been 70 when he graduated. He was the CEO of Sears, back when Sears was a big deal, for like 35 years. And he always wanted to be a lawyer. Then he ended up in my class at law school. Guy's name's Mike Phillips. Greatest guy ever, smartest guy. He went to like Yale and shit. He ended up at my shitty law school because he was retired, he lived in Marina Del Rey and just wanted to be a lawyer. He graduated from law school and he was like in his early 70s. And I talked to him the other day, still alive, he's in his 90s. He spent 20 years at Bet Zedek, legal aid.
Wow.
He became the director of Bet Zedek before he retired when he was 90, Mike Phillips. He said, Mara, I've never made a dollar as a lawyer. I never wanted to charge anybody money. Spent 20 years at Bedzenic.
That's the dream.
A legal aid
If
place.
you could do that, you've succeeded at life,
he
and you
said,
beat this show.
I finally did everything I wanted to do.
You
I'm
gamified
done.
it.
Love that.
And he's just chilling. He's 92 years old. He's still in Marina Del Rey.
He helped people.
He did everything he wanted to do. 20 years
You know what?
at Bedzenic.
Let's raise a glass to the Dordick family. This is to the old new granddad and the young mom.
The old granddad.
Thank you.
Gary.
Cheers, Granddad.
Hot granddad. That's a gilf right over there. Yes. He'd be a gilf.
Oh my gosh. Okay.